we're recording. So there we go.
There we
All
go.
right, let's start from the beginning, Peter.
Well, thank you everyone for agreeing to be part of this session. The idea behind the session was to find bike rally participants that represented a unique form or a unique angle on their fundraising. All of you have taken different tacks, and there may be other people who are doing the same thing, but you're sort of representing that sample. So with that in mind, and as I said, I'll be watching the time, and I mean, I think like 5 minutes may be too short, so I've kind of, if you need to go longer, feel free. And we'll reorder the order of the presenters with Julie going first, so she can drop off and spend more time with her daughter, who has surprised her with a visit tonight. So Seamus, did you want to say anything before Julie starts, or?
No, I just want to thank everyone for spending the time with us tonight to talk about some of your fundraising tips and tricks. I think it's invaluable. I know they've been certainly out of the box and certainly innovative, so I can't wait to hear how you came up with your ideas and how we got here. We're going to start with Julie tonight, who is a very crafty bike enthusiast. And Julie, why don't you talk about what you do and how you raise funds for the bike rally?
Okay, good evening, anybody that sees this probably tomorrow morning. So I find fundraising really, really hard. I'm not good at asking for money. I'm not good at sort of tracking down my email folks, and I don't have a really huge base of people that actually in this country, most of my people are in England. So I found fundraising really challenging even as a rider, but what I decided to do was utilize something I'm already doing, which is my artwork, as a way to sell things to people, because apparently I'm a lot more comfortable doing that. I'm going to try and share my screen, Peter, if it works. Let me see. That's not what I want to share. That's not it. 1 second. Might have to open it up again. So what I decided to do is I like to draw, and it's something that I actually do for my own mental health. So I decided to basically take some of my doodlings, as I like to call them, and make them into some saleable items. I'm just trying to see if I can get this to open. Everything goes slower for me on my Mac. Here we go. Wrong one. So I've been making a variety of things, including coasters and pot holders and vases, all small items that are very cheap to make, but also very easy to sell. And then it's just about making sure you have an outlet for that. I've done everything from just hitting people up at work. Sorry, I just had to open another tab here. Hitting people up at work to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to open this, guys. Sorry. I've got multiple tabs in different places happening here.
No, sign of somebody with.
You have to do a Jupiter dance instead.
You know what it is? It's because I'm on my work account, and then I've got my personal account, and they're in two different places. So basically, I made little shooter glasses and little candles and vases and coasters, and I work. And just as everybody's having lunch, I'm like, hey, look what I have today. And so I basically peddle things to people. And
so
also,
you haven't shared anything on your screen yet.
Yeah, I haven't been able to. I'm just trying to see if I can boot it across from one account to the other. I can probably do that.
Okay.
Yeah, on Zoom, I can pick up my PDF off my desktop. It's not letting me do that, so I just need to share it across.
No,
it's okay. If there's a way, I'll find it. Yeah, sorry, I'm not good at talking and thinking at the same time today. So yeah, so basically it's finding an outlet for how to sell you're selling. It's like, it can be as simple as doing it at work, putting it on Facebook. I literally have made $1,000 just doing that. And at a PWA event, I've got other fundraisers coming up. I haven't pushed very hard because obviously I'm in that privileged position of being crew and not having to worry as much as other people. So I haven't been pushing as hard as some would. But the saleability of it, I could easily double what I've raised or more. Just by having little events. I'm not allowed to sell at school technically, so I can't utilize those events. But if you've got work events happening or just on Facebook, that kind of thing, I just put my stuff up there and people seem to buy it. So yeah, that's not going to let me do this. It's been a pain. Hang on. Screen window or let me share my
Okay.
screen.
I'm going to share my screen just to show what you did up at Cedars last weekend,
Yeah.
or last year. So let's do this. That's
Okay.
me. Nobody wants to see
That's
that. There's Julie. Whoops. Okay. I'm trying to find your craft table, Julie. There. So Julie and Helen did a craft table. We had this square going. Gideon certainly helps. So here you can see all of the craft works that both Helen and Julie did. And how much do you think you raised at Cedars last summer?
We raised a lot. I mean, I didn't keep an individual tally, but it was
It's close to $800 from the craft table.
$800 just from the table, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Helen's key rings were amazing. I did last year. I basically did cookies and helped Helen with her key rings.
Yeah.
She's definitely been a leader in this one over the years. She's always had she's done things with little rocks, making pictures and mugs and everything. So this year was really taken from that concept. I've managed to figure out how to share it now, by the way, Seamus.
Okay, you can take it back off me.
Okay.
And just so you guys know, you can see the banner there. That those banners are available to us to use at events. You pick them up, I sign them out and pick them up at PWA.
Okay, I'm going to share my entire screen because that's going to be the only way I figure this out. Hang on. Okay, tell me if you can see coasters now.
Yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
All right. Whew, it's like that was a lot of work. So these little guys, I mean, I sell these sets of coasters for like $25. If you've got an idea, I also, Peter had to push my price up because I was very reserved about my prices, but you know, you quickly add up very quickly. So I have these coasters. These are some vases. These cost like $2 each to buy. And I'm selling these for $25 each. The coasters are a bit more expensive to make. They probably cost me $5 to make a set for 25. And that's the other thing. I chose to absorb my own costs. So that's something people need to factor in. If you're going to do something, you need to consider whether you're absorbing the cost, taking the cost back, and that, you know, look at your prices a little bit. These little guys are tiny little shooter glasses. They cost me like $1 each. And again, I could sell these for like, I don't even know what I'm selling these for yet. $5 probably.
Yes. It's common, right, Julie, for people to donate the cost of their items back to the.
Absolutely. I know Helen never took a cent back. She paid for all her things. So something to factor in is if you do have like an artsy side to you or a crafty side is, you know, if you're not able to if you can't absorb the costs, then decide what you're prepared to spend. I know some people who paint and they can charge a lot more for paintings. You could raffle stuff. I know somebody, Debbie, she raffles off those beautiful quilts, but there's hundreds of hours.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These I can knock these things out. I can do one of these in 20 minutes at this point. I know because I've done quite a few. These don't take a long time to make. The coasters are a little labor intensive, but that's another thing, right? It's the designs are all from my own artworks too. So
I really like those the cycling glass there. Is that a shooting glass or a glass?
Actually, you know what? That was actually a glass my my daughter's partner has bought for me. I wish I.
Oh, okay.
I use that just for the
You should
top.
steal that. It's awesome.
I know. It's like, it's time yet. It's time yet. Because I just found these little guys. These are little shooter glasses
Yeah.
at the dollar store. These have cost me like less than $1 each. And yeah, I've sort of figured out, a better way to do this faster. So I'm always finding a way of doing it faster and cheaper to make more product. And then, obviously I've got the Cedars thing, hopefully again this year, and maybe one other sale I'm thinking of having, I think through PWA, where Will's working on something for us. So it's one of those things that you can quite easily, okay, I'm going to stop sharing. You can quite easily make a lot of products and sell it easily because people, you can get $20 out of people still.
Oh,
Getting
yeah.
up to $100 out of people. When I rode, I had like 6 people that were my constants that gave me $100-200, and that was it. Because I don't have this big, like I'm not a Rob Vino, that's for sure. So this is a great way for me to just churn things out, take them with me everywhere. I literally take them. I brought them out at a neighbor event. I brought people to my house to relax and sold them stuff. I have
Yeah,
no
no,
problem doing
it's a great loss leader to get, show people the items and people, and it's great work and people will want to buy. I know that the craft table up at the campground sells a lot every year, and just so everyone knows, you can get one of these, which is the square reader that can plug into the phone and take donations via Square. So that's something that's already established at PWA, and we can get those for you if that's what you need to do.
You can sign them out, Seamus, is what you're saying?
You can, yeah, absolutely, Andrew, no problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to buy one of those things anyway?
I do not know. I was given this one as a promotional piece so that you sign up, but yeah. Because nothing's free, Andrew. There's a percentage cost to these things.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. All right. So are there any
Sorry,
questions for Julie, or should we move on to our next person?
I just want to answer the question. I don't know the exact cost, but they're not cheap because I was in discussions with PWA to see if we could get more of them, and was told that they are quite expensive to get. So, but thankfully we have the ability to what do you call it? Borrow them.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, Julie, thanks for participating tonight, and I'm glad your daughter's in town and surprised you. So enjoy your evening with her.
Take care. Good luck.
Okay. Bye. Okay, Peter, I'll go last if you want to have somebody go next. Oh, can't hear you, Peter. You're on mute, my friend.
Okay. Thanks, Seamus. Ken, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So I'll share my screen. I hope you guys get some audio as well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. To share audio, share a tab instead.
Andrew. Always a clown. I love him. Are you excited about your event tomorrow night, Andrew?
What's that?
Excited about your event tomorrow night?
I've got a table full of swag. I need to divvy up and figure out who's getting what.
Wow.
I practiced a little bit this evening, so yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so here's Ken.
All right, so I, as part of my fundraising initiatives, this is my second year, so I was, obviously there's a higher amount that needs to be raised past your first year. So I was trying to think of how I could do as much canvassing as possible, as quickly as possible. So I am a member of a choir. I'm a member of New Choir. And it's 120 people that I see every week for, you know, for 8 months out of the year, we're all working together towards a show, but we're at rehearsals, we're at practices and things like that. It's a great community of people, a great bunch of people that I've really endeared myself to. And so I knew that I would get a measure of support from this group, but I really wanted to kind of make some impact with it. So when I was thinking about how to petition this group to support my ride a little bit, I had to ask myself, you know, how do I do this with a measure of impact? I really wanted to inspire donations, generate awareness, interest in the ride. Our organization, I wanted to be able to highlight volunteering opportunities, and kind of keep that dialogue going from March until present, until we wrap the year at the end of May. And so when I was asking myself, how am I going to do this? I wanted to do something perhaps a little vulnerable, silly, out of the ordinary, attention grabbing, and perhaps a little bit titillating. So what I ended up embracing was the idea of wearing my cycling gear to rehearsals in order to grab attention, in order to get people talking to me about the bike rally. And even if people weren't talking to me about it, they were at least reminded of this event and this initiative. Nothing grabs more attention more than spandex riding gear outside of context, right? So that's sort of something that I leaned into. And so I talked to the director, I talked to the board, I made sure that I got permission and I got buy-in. It wasn't just like showing up and being distracting, but I did put some I did put some you know, thought and planning behind this thing. So once I got my approval, it was time to talk about it. And so what I had done is I showed up at choir practice one week and spoke with my director. I was like, hey, you know, I'm going to make my announcement this week. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure, no problem. And I said, well, I want to actually do it, you know, in my riding gear and, you know, up in front of people. So he said, yep, absolutely, let's do it. I do have a video of it. I don't know if you want me to show that here.
Yeah, it's a nice little video.
Yeah, sure. I have to stop sharing and reshare again.
Sure.
Hold on. So basically, he kind of made a big production of inviting me up to the stage. I made this debut in my riding gear, got a lot of reaction out of the other members. So that was pretty fun and that was pretty cool. And I'll pull this up in a second, but yes, so.
And what was the reception like in terms of getting donations, et cetera? Have you seen an increase from just generally asking your choir members to donate?
Yeah, and it's been consistent every week since then. So
Wow.
I have actually been wearing not the whole riding kit, but I'll wear the jersey from week to week, just because it's a nice little reminder.
Mm-hmm.
It's not distracting, things like that. I'm trying to take advantage also of the times where we have breaks or the time leading up into the rehearsal starting. There's a table where everyone has to like manually, you know, sign themselves in to make sure that they were there. And I actually created, you can see in the screen that I'm sharing right now, you can see these little check-in signs that I created for the choir.
Nice.
Actually have. So they're just little like standing signs here. I just leave them on the table, and it has the QR code for my bike rally. I came up with a little sign with a picture from what was going on last year, so people don't necessarily have to come up and talk to me if they're busy. It's just something that's always on their radar from week to week, reminding them that this is something that they can come up and do.
And Ken, for those who are first timers and doing some short URLs, is this a bit.ly QR code?
It was a bit.ly QR code, yes.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, maybe Ken, you can explain how you can get a bit.ly QR code.
Yeah. So if you just go like open a browser, go to bit.ly. It will take you to the bit.ly. Bit.ly is what is called a link shortener. service. And so it will basically create a tiny little link. It's just bit.ly/ and then whatever you want to put after it. So in my case, I called mine New Choir Ken, just so that it was easy for my choir members to remember, and it links directly to my fundraising page for Friends for Life. And it was just a nice, easy way to either remember the link, or they could just scan the QR code with their phone when they arrive at the event.
Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really tried to take advantage of every opportunity to be in front of people, and it surprises me every week. I get more and more donations coming through the door. Since March, so in the 2 months that I've been kind of leaning into donations from this group, I've made about $1,800.
Oh, bravo! That's great.
Yeah. Like I'm incredibly floored and honored and touched by the support that I've gotten from this group, and like people that I haven't had a chance to talk to yet. This is my first year in the choir as well, so this is it's really encouraging for me. But the support has been fantastic.
That's great, and that's from one pool, and it's also pulling from the advertising motto, which is, of course, frequency and repetition. So you're showing up, you're in the garb, you have the same collateral every week, you're pushing the same message, frequency, repetition, and you're getting donations. So good for you. It's great.
Yeah, and it keeps the dialogue going. It's like that first presentation just cements it into people's heads, and people are constantly asking me how things are going. It's like, oh, I forgot to donate to you. I need to donate to you again. And I have printouts that I give to people, and they can then take it home and use their computers, because there's a whole spectrum of people with technological savvy out there. So you have to kind of keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
But I thought, as I meet fundraising milestones with this group, I'm thinking about, what can I do to perhaps incentivize reaching these milestones? I kind of teased the idea of showing up in my red dress attire that I had worn at the bike rally for last year. So that's getting people excited and a little bit of traction. So I'm thinking, once I hit a certain threshold, at the year-end party, I'll like make an appearance in my Sailor Mars outfit from last year.
Great idea. I love it. I love it. I love it. For the sake of time, Ken, are we okay if we move on to our next presenter?
Yeah, certainly. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So Peter, who's up next? You're on mute again, Peter. I would just leave yourself off mute, Pete.
Sorry. Up next is Andrew Billiard.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Two
hi,
Andrews.
Folks. Yeah, I know. This is my cousin Andrew. My other cousin Andrew. So I've taken the approach from last year and this year of using Facebook to reach out. I really didn't think that this was going to work all that well, but it does work surprisingly well. So I'm gonna share my screen just to just make sure my porn windows are all minimized before I.
Attaboy.
Yeah, thanks. Trying to figure out. Okay, here we go. All right. Window. All right, so I'll start with just the overall one. You guys can see that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, make that a little bit. So just basically, it's a pinned note on my Facebook page that basically has, a nice picture and some information. You click on more. There's a whole bit of detail of what you want. So I mean, that's I don't think anything profound there. But what I end up doing is every time someone then donates to me, the first thing I do is in the comments sections, I actually reach out to them and thank them in the comment field itself. So not only because it's pinned on my website, it's not pinned on anyone else's Facebook page. So every time I do this, of course, that brings this post right up to their top of their post, what do you call it, newsfeed. So that's kind of a handy way. And then it actually kind of feeds into the idea that more and more people are contributing. I'm thanking a bunch of people, and again, I think this comes back to your point, Seamus, of it just keeps in people's face the topic, right?
100. Yes. Frequency and repetition.
Yeah. So then that's the initial. But then what I really like about this, I'm going to pick another one here, is every time I do a ride, it gets recorded on Strava. I then take and download it. Now there's an app that you can buy, or you even get for free actually. It's called Relive. That's what this little R is here. And what it does is it links to your Strava account and it creates this little video for you. And it basically, it actually takes your route that you did. It'll show some pictures. If you have pictures on your phone from the route, it actually captures it, tells you your fastest speeds. It takes you through your whole route. Has a little jingle that you can have with it as well. So it's just kind of a nice little video to show the route that you did. And I've named it after whoever sponsored me for that particular ride.
What a great idea. I love that. So so in a way they're sponsoring your training rides.
That's right. Yeah, that's how I'm trying to set it up. And then you have some other, there's some graphics I typically, you can pull this down from Strava. This one here I've written on my own, but it doesn't really matter. It just basically pulls out this, just a picture of your route with all of the specs that goes with it, right? And then some silly pictures to try and show that this is just a breeze. But so that's basically how it goes. And then what I end up doing is in that sponsor ride up here. Let me make this a little bigger there we go. So it's Lori Woodcock sponsored me an amount of money. Immediately followed by the URL. I'm using Tiny URL. Will actually from PWA gave me that. For those who are wondering, it also produces QR codes as well. So
good to know.
Yeah, it's a handy website to use as well. And it's the same sort of thing. You can call it whatever you want as your little tag at the end. And then it gives you this is a very brief thank you, right? I didn't want to have, the other one is a very long page. And I found out when I talk to people, they don't read it anyway. They don't click the see more, right? So I just tried to keep that as succinct as possible. And then more importantly, how much more I need to have before I've reached the goal, right? And so when I started doing this, I was questioning, is this working? Like, is there a correlation? Of course, for those who don't know me, I'm a physicist, so I have to plot things. So
this is fantastic, Andrew. Oh my gosh.
So this is so anyway, so the idea was the blue is donations received, and it's not the dollar values up here, but this is just basically counting how many people cumulatively have sponsored me. This dead zone here, so this is in December. I started the campaign, sent a few emails. I got a couple of bites, people who are sponsoring me anyway. This green line is my work. We are like Lori, like Julie, we're not supposed to do stuff at work. I have a master warrant officer who said, fuck it, I'm sending this out. So immediately I got a bunch of people on that one. But really what happened was, this is when I plotted set up my first Facebook activity. That would have been in January. And then almost immediately I got a bite, right? And then I had a couple of more, and then you can see it quickly escalates after this. So as I'm posting my Facebook, it's actually climbing. The donations actually climb pretty quick after that. It's on average anywhere from 2 to 5 days after I do a Facebook post, I will typically get a donation from someone, which is kind of a nice correlation, right? It's not exact, but at least it gives me a sense of that I'm not just making a fool of myself and just random number generator and someone's actually contributing to it. So, but yeah, so I'm actually at the, I have about $275 left to make before I get the 3,000. So
oh, congratulations! That's amazing.
1950 was daunting. 3,000 was fucking daunting, right? So so I wasn't sure how, but this is working quite well. So I'm actually quite happy about that. And the last thing I wanted to do was, I haven't done it this year, but I made a video last year. Really silly.
Oh, I remember this video. This was good.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you the. Can you hear it? I don't know if there's sound, but
no, but it's a the message comes across.
Yeah. So it's just me playing, just figuring out what I'm going to wear for the, and I just did it with my cell phone basically set up, and well, my workmates asked why I wear suspenders underneath the clothing, which was a strange question, but
That's great. That's great. Does anyone have any questions for Andrew? No, well, it seems like you're on target to hit your 3,000 pretty soon, Andrew. And
I'm hoping so.
good luck at sponsoring more of these rides for people who donate. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it seems to have worked well for me. That's for sure.
No, it's certainly out of the box, and we'll take some of the tips and tricks and we'll put them together in a little email format at the end, and we'll send that out. And I think Will Webb can help us with that. So if you guys don't mind some of the tips that you're mentioning tonight, if you can just email Peter and myself, we will put those into play. And some of them are like the QR codes, or I can't even remember, Andrew, that thing that
Tiny
plots
URL.
your, or no, the other one, the plots
Oh.
your, yeah, on Strava, that kind of tip and
Relive.
trick.
Relive.
Thank you, Relive.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Amazing. All right. So, hi, Michael. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. Right. Thank you. So next up is Andrew Shreve. Sorry. I'm looking at Michael. Sorry, Andrew Starr. Sorry.
Did you guys get married and you didn't tell us?
Yeah. Andrew Shreve. Yes.
Andrew Shreve.
Go ahead, Mr. Shreve.
How about you,
Welcome, Michael.
Mr. Starr? Tell us about your big event.
Well, I've got two events that I've been doing the last couple of years. What one should I start with? I think the first one I'll start with is the longest one, is the Sausage Fest, which is been on the Pride Day Sunday every year for the past 10 or 11 years. And I've been lucky enough to have a half decent rooftop balcony I can use. And the idea just randomly came to me. We'd finished off the Pride Parade. We'd marched through the Green Party. And I was like, oh, let's go to my place, and had like nothing of any food and stuff like that, because I'm so used to going out during Pride. And then just sort of like, oh yeah, this would be fun to do next year. And then it all clicked together of like, well, hang on, no one wants to go out. If you're from the village and you've gone to as many prides as I have, you're kind of done. Like, you're kind of just, I've been there, I've seen the floats, and I've seen the costumes and all that sort of stuff. And when you get to a certain vintage, you're like, I'd much rather just sit with some friends and have a beer and whatnot. So I've swung that, and I've talked to the wonderful St. Jamestown Steak and Shops over on Parliament and Winchester, and they've been very nice to supply the sausages, which is great, makes for a fest. And
Nice.
I can't charge anything legally for beer, but I've got a couple cases of beer, and my general rule is, if you throw me $20, oh, there's the beer cooler over there. I don't want to get into whole legal matters of having a license and whatnot. So,
But it could be you can do a pay what you can donation to the bike rally, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what logistically if I'm allowed to sell beer per se, but
you're not selling it; you're giving it away.
100%. Yeah. Oh, you just happened to give me a donation. So anyway, that's Sausage Fest, and you were all welcome to join up on that. And luckily,
and sorry, Andrew. So how many years has that been going on now? Because I know I've heard about it for at least the last 4 or 5.
About 10 or 11. And how come you haven't showed up famous?
And through COVID.
Because I'm usually at the trailer that weekend to get away from Pride.
I've also lucked out that Chris Rowlandson lives next door, so he's been providing desserts as well. So we've got 2 patios, a lot of room. It is a fun event, definitely, for sure. And my trick on that is pretty much cold calling, like walking up. Okay, well, I've got the sausages. Okay, now I need 100 buns, and I need some material, ketchup, mustard, relish, and all that. So it's been a cold call of walk in the metro 2 or 3 weeks before the event, have your little letter of, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's doing this, find the manager in charge, talk to them, and sort of say, I need a bit of help. I'm doing this. And living downtown, all these places are within a 5-minute walk from me, so I'm lucky. So that's Sausage Fest. That's one. That's a bit out of the box.
Love the name.
Perfect.
Do you know how much you raise doing that, Andrew?
Usually that's about the $800 or $900 mark.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's just pure, same deal. The things like the QR codes are helpful. No one's carrying cash these days. That's what, no one's got $20 to give away. So for sure, having that the QR link, the little white box to help out has been a huge, massive saver. Pardon me. That's Sausage Fest, and that's happening this Sunday, or this Sunday, not this Sunday, this Pride Sunday.
Pride Sunday.
End of June. So you're all welcome to that. The other thing I'm doing is, of course, there we go. I'll share this old school style. There we go. I'm also lucky enough to be involved in 2 bands which are quite generous with their time. And tomorrow, I've managed to rent out the Buddies in Bad Times Theater, the cabaret, and my one little surf band, Dog Selfie, will be performing with Mouth Congress, which contains Scott Thompson and Paul Bellini. If you're a fan of Kids.
Oh, wow.
So I've got those guys on board, and that has been a chore sort of thing, having not Paul and Scott, but organizing an event. You're really in the producer's circle of every question comes down to you. So how do I get, the ticket sales and everything else? I've just spent the last couple of days going through same deal again. The more I've realized over the years, the more warning you give people. No one will give you a donation up front, especially a corporate one, because it has to go through the chains of command. So hitting a place 2 or 3 weeks before you have an event coming up, getting that. I like the hardcore letter, walking in with a letter and a bit of professionalism. I find goes a long way with small businesses, big and small actually businesses. Just doing that, have a smile on your face, do all that.
So how is it looking right now for ticket sales? And
as I was talking to buddies an hour ago, we're at like 50 tickets of approximately a maximum capacity of 95. That's tickets sold. I'm anticipating. Well, I'd love to see it sold out. That'd be great. And I think next year price as well. General chat. Okay. Yeah, I think next year I'm going to crank up the price because I'm not making as much profit as I wanted to off the show.
Oh, yeah. Remember, this is a charity.
But this is coming from, someone that 25 bucks still in my head. Oh, that's a lot of money. It's nothing now, is it? Sadly. Like that's 2 beers if you're lucky.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, 2 Toronto beers. That's 3 Trenton beers.
20 bucks is gone in the blink of an eye. I think so. I might make it 30 or something like that, and it's all adds up. I've just been cold calling and going through not my Rolodex, but my who's got a business, who's got something I get swag from. So I've got some CBC swag. I've got a messy table full of.
Oh, okay. So are these giveaways or silent auction, Andrew?
Here's where the dilemma is. They will all be raffled off, and I'm just not sure how to do the silent auction or thing. And this will be decided in the next 23 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah,
I've had both Michael Shreve and I have had a lot of luck with silent auction, so I can highly recommend that. Also, if you can get to a Staples and get the double ticketed tickets for 50/50 draws.
Got those. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because we did close to $1,000 on those up at the camp last summer.
I think I've got it all figured out. I'm just now at the physical part of putting it all together, so I'm a little busy at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Thank you for your time tonight. I know you're busy, and this is like probably the last thing you want to be doing. So thank you.
The day before, but I have a couple of questions, Andrew. Just quickly, you mentioned a letter that you take with you to get sponsorship. Like, so did you get PWA to kind of
work
pull that together, or?
It's just basically on my ugly green head, to whom it may concern. I just basically said, my name's Andrew Starr. I'm participating in the 2024 Friends for Life bike rally. We're cycling to Montreal. That's just, here's what the bike rally is.
So it's a letter you've created to leave with them, or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
I find that, you give that to someone, it sticks on their counter, and they finally get around to it, and they look at it and go, oh, okay, let's give them the bakery up the street. I'm getting a loaf of bread and like a half dozen croissants or something, coupons for each.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I guess that's the important point, is that they have something, that you leave them with something that they can mull over and get back to you. My other question was, does Buddies donate the space, or do you have to pay for that? Like, how?
Charitable rate. They do have a charity rate for a night. It was 5 and change, 525, I think rings a bell.
Oh,
So
that sounds like nothing. Yeah.
it's not really. I mean, at the ticket price, is doing the math. I'm like, okay, I can make this happen. Yeah, so it would be something to look into the future of another night of, I don't know, cycling entertainment at Buddy's for next. If you know, it's always it's a great theater space right in the village that seems to get unused. So that's definitely something for people to think about for next year.
That is a great idea. And
Yep.
speaking of, thank you, Andrew. And speaking of entertaining spaces, last but not least, we'll talk to Michael Shreve and how he likes to entertain and raise money at the same time. Michael, why don't you talk about some of the out of the box fundraising that you've done in the past? Oh, you're on mute, my friend.
You'd
Thank
think
you, Andrew.
after this many years of being on camera, one would learn, but no. So I used to do really physical fundraising for the bike rally, but I stopped that because it was just too much damn work. So initially I started with yard sales. So I would hound everybody I knew and collect a bunch of stuff in my basement. And in early May, I would do this big ass yard sale. And some years I'd make about 600, other years I'd make close to 1,000, but it was a shit ton of work collecting all the stuff. And then the biggest problem was what to do with it afterwards, because you don't sell everything. So then you've got all this crap that you have to deal with. And then I found over time, the amount of stuff I was able to collect and the amount of stuff I was able to sell was diminishing. And then I was looking at the return. I'm like, nah, this is a lot of work for what I'm getting. So we folded the annual PWA yard sale away after about 4 or 5 years.
But it's not to say it's not a good idea for someone else who wants to do it, right?
Right.
Yes.
So, if you know somebody that's moving and they have good stuff, or you are moving yourself and you want to downsize, having a good yard sale with good stuff is a good way to do it.
Great.
The other things I've done locally in my apartment, I used to hold a pride brunch. And I would do that the Sunday morning of the parade. And that worked better when I was in a location that was very close to the parade. So everybody wanted my spot for washroom breaks, water breaks. So, you could watch the parade and come back for a quick bio break or get some water or fill up your squirt gun. So that worked really well, and I could charge for that. My current location doesn't work as well, so it's not as convenient. So with all the other stuff going on around Pride, again, I wasn't making the return to keep it going. So that's one. Christmas party. If you're hosting a party, there's nothing wrong with you saying to your friends, hey, look, I'm putting on this event. This is a fundraising event. Instead of, I'm going to feed you, I'm going to wine and dine you. Instead of you going out for dinner, I'm inviting you to my home. So what you would spend on dinner or a night out, please donate it here and you get a tax receipt. So I'm benefiting, you're benefiting, and we're enjoying each other's company at this party. So I've done that a number of years, and that one also worked quite well.
Good.
Last year, I got some space donated at the Eagle, and I did a fundraiser called Peloton Daddies, which was a stripathon. And we basically just had a couple spin bikes set up at the Eagle. We got the space for free. And similar to Andrew, just running around and getting swag and things to either sell an auction off or raffle off. And I think between the two of us, we made about $1,000 that day in doing that space. But that would apply to any bar that you can get a hold of. So I would recommend that for any bar where you're friendly with the owners, just talk to them and see if they'll host a bar night. And they're especially interested in doing it on nights or afternoons where they're not typically busy. So they want your crowd. They want those people to come in and buy drinks from them while you're hosting your event. So you often can get the event for little cost or zero cost. Years back, I did a similar thing at the Hair of the Dog. Sorry, not the Hair of the Dog. The place that's on, used to be the Red Lion. Why am I blanking? The Blake House on Jarvis. So they have a front patio, and on that front patio, we did an underwear fashion show. So we had some underwear donated, and I had 2 young guys and 2 older guys modeling their underwear, Jed Canceran was my MC. He was making sure that everyone was getting a good feel of those underwear as the guys were walking around. You have to touch the fabric, really know what you're buying. And then of course we auctioned those off. We did again a silent auction and a raffle that night. And again, that was $1,000 night. And I believe the restaurant, because we packed his patio on a weeknight, threw in a couple $100 for us.
Sweet.
And was really eager to do that. So other places in the village that I know are willing. So the Blake House is very willing. The Lodge, they have an upstairs space. They're really willing to donate that space to us if we want to use it.
And I can add the well, the drink, and like you said, the Eagle. Oh, and Pegasus, also very friendly.
Right. So these are available to us as a community, so we might as well take advantage of them. The a thing I do online, there's a site called Mail Things Worn, and I sell used underwear on Mail Things Worn. Now you may think, really? Can you make any money doing that? I made $1,000 doing that a couple of years ago. So wow. Yes, you can make some serious coin doing that. People have their fetishes, and we're all riding around sweating a lot in the summer, so there's plenty of product production happening.
Now that's an out of the box idea.
So the site is
what's the URL? What's the URL? I'm just checking it out right now.
Google Mail Things Worn, MALE Things Worn. .com and set yourself up a site and see how it goes. Truck drivers apparently do very well on the site. I don't know. Chris Rollinson has got a couple buyers of some of his items post bike rally that he wears during bike rally, and they're quite happy to get them apparently.
Wow. Wow.
So you know,
well, I'm glad you're on my team of the shift gears. Yeah, sorry, I said it wrong. The shift gears and shifting gears. That's what I meant to say. So thank you, Michael, for that. We are going to have to wrap up shortly. In addition to some of those ideas that Michael was talking about when Boutique was around, similarly, I would have spinning and silent auctions, and Boutique would do a percentage of sales to the event that night. Always raised over $1,000 at that at Boutique at that time. Now I've switched gears to Cedars, the campground, and I do a Saturday fundraiser with the team, and I mean, last year we raised, I think, close to 1,700 in total. So it was a big powerhouse day in terms of fundraising, and whomever participates get a split. And I usually do it in July. So if I've already met my minimum, or in some cases top fundraising, then any money I raise, I put towards my team members who are still struggling and trying to get to their minimums or their top fundraiser. So I think it's one of those things that you get more people involved and you get to give back to those who are also trying to get there, because it's not as easy for everyone to make the money as they want. A new thing that I did this year, just out of, I don't know what came inspiration, but I called it the Bella campaign. And for 10 days before the bike short deadline, I was thanking anyone who donated with a picture of Bella, and that raised close to $8. There we go. So you thank people and say, if you want a picture of Bella, please donate. And I raised over $800 in 5 days. So people like, and that's up at the Cedars. So people like dog pictures. Anyways, yeah. I'm leaving from selling your jog strap to selling your dog's face. So Peter, did you want to say anything about some of the fundraising tips you did?
Well, I've just borrowed your idea and I started the Gideon campaign this week.
I saw that. Yeah.
So hopefully that will have some success. Just a quick question for Michael before I talk about some of the other ones. So for the mail products, whatever, do you source those in bulk? Is there?
Yes.
how much did you raise last year? I don't know if did you mention that?
It was about 1,000 the first year I did it. I forget if it was last year or the year before last that I started doing it. It is work. You need to advertise your product, so you're constantly snapping pictures of yourself in your ditch. But you can make some coins. So yes, of course, to reduce my product cost, I was buying in bulk. So my jock straps often have weird Chinese names because I'm not buying them out on the street at $45 a pop. Thank you.
Right. Fair enough.
That's awesome. Thanks, Michael. So what I have is a list. I haven't necessarily tried all these things. Well, first of all, I guess I'll talk about what I've done. One of the things I've done is I've gotten like business cards from Vistaprint with a little blurb about what I'm doing. I'm doing the bike rally, whatever. And on the card, it has the QR code and as well as the tiny URL. So whenever I have conversations with people, and I often have these conversations in the dog park walking Gideon, I say, if you're interested, if you'd love to sponsor me, here's, I can immediately like give them the card, right? As opposed to asking them because I often don't have their email addresses, and it's kind of a little awkward it's like, oh, can I get your email so I could shoot you a donation request? So I just kind of say, well, if you're, this is kind of what I'm doing, and I've got the card right on me, and so that's actually generated a few hits. Started that last summer, and they cost about $30 to order. So and like Julie said, like I kind of absorbed the cost of that, but I think it pays for itself in terms of donations.
That's a smart one. I like that.
Yeah, and some of the other ideas I've heard, I haven't done these myself, but I think Julie, Helen, who's not on the call tonight, I think she hosted a trivia night at Pegasus. And so again, that would probably involve getting swag and working with the bar owners, and but that's something else that can be done. It's sort of in line with the entertainment idea. And then there's Michael talked about yard sales, but there's also you could also do a clothing drive. Value Village can help you organize a clothing drive and then issue a donation receipt to the charity that you're doing it for. So that's another option as well. I haven't tried it. These are ideas that I've kind of seen out there. Michael mentioned the underwear show. There's also been drag shows. This Friday, someone's hosting a comedy show at a comedy bar. So lots of different things that people can do in terms of out of the box fundraising.
Yeah, it is interesting because you get approached so often and people are like, I really can't think of any ideas and how to raise money. And I'm like, it's as easy as grabbing your bike and some training wheels and parking outside of St. Lawrence Market on a Sunday and pedaling your butt off with a bucket. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. And
or
you
one of those
raise a couple $100.
One of those little tap devices.
Yes,
go grab that.
Because nobody has money anymore. That's true. But we are going to wrap up. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. We did record this. We're going to send this link out so that people can watch at their leisure. Good luck tomorrow, Andrew. And Ken, good luck with your finale. And Andrew, with everything you're doing. And Michael, can't wait to hear when your big program is going to kick off. I still have the sunglasses that I won at your auction last year. So that's awesome. All right.
Warrior Night 2 tomorrow at Buddy's. Get your tickets in advance quickly.
Tickets in advance. And what's that website to get the tickets, Andrew?
It's the same one Michael Shreve sells his underwear on. No. I believe.
Look for Starry Night on Facebook.
Starrier Night.
Starrier Night on Facebook, and it should come up. I think the event's on Facebook. And I think the tickets on the Buddies Buddies
website.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are on the Buddies website.
But if I could 30 seconds of people's time, this is kind of weird because there's so many events happening and there's not one central calendar for all these things.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I do.
Everyone's like kind of word of mouth, hearing through mine and hearing about this and hearing about that. I'm not the person to do it, but I mean, there must be some sort of calendar.
Like really used to be really good about posting everything on the main website. I don't know if people are telling them anymore, or if there's an avenue for that to happen, but we used to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Leave it with us, Andrew, and we'll check into it. And if it doesn't happen this year, we'll get it on the docket for next year. How's that sound?
To be a bit of a thing I found. A lot of people are kind of, oh, what's going on? Oh, I would have gone to that if I'd known. Anyways,
I do know. Yesterday, you did get a shout out on the PWA post on Facebook.
Oh, good.
oh,
Good.
did I? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Okay.
Take that shade back.
No.
All right,
Awesome,
everybody. Really
Bye.
appreciate
Bye,
it. Thank you for your time and happy fundraising. See you later.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Bye,
inviting me.
Gideon. Bye.
Bye.